Good morning, my crafty peeps. Today we are going to be starting the tutorial for the wooden chipboard baby album. Now, Archana did put this album in her store, so it is called the Baby Kit, and you'll just go ahead and look for that. I have the link down below in the description box for you. So to start off with this, we're going to go ahead and you're going to get your paste or what your Mod Podge, and you're going to go ahead and cover the front part of your wooden chipboard piece like I'm doing here. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and grab your pattern paper and whatever side you want. And I wanted to do actually the polka dot side, so I got kind of had to flip it back over. So I went ahead and placed that chipboard piece down on top of the flower side, and I did have to kind of go over it a little bit because that it dried pretty fast. So you can either do it in sections, like maybe do the top part and then the bottom part, or however you want to do side to side, however you want to do it. But it does lay down fairly quick, and just make sure you burnish it in really, really good. So like I was saying, here is the part where mine didn't stick down very well, so I had to go back and put the paste back on top of it, and then really burnish it down as I was going. So you can do that as well. So you can put your Mod Podge down, burnish it in a little bit, and then go back underneath and then put your Mod Podge down and burnish it down really good. So yeah, just try that. You can do it however you want. Just like I said, make sure you cover the whole entire chipboard and you burnish down very well. All right, the next thing you're doing is you're going to grab your scissors, and when you're cutting this out, you're going to kind of tilt your scissors inward towards the chipboard, so you're cutting like right up against that chipboard piece, okay? And you're just going to cut all the way around the chipboard piece there. And then once you're done cutting it, you're going to grab a fingernail file and you're going to file down all of the edges on the chipboard piece, okay? And what this does is it helps to smooth out all of the paper edges. If there's any rough edges that you cut, during your cutting, it's just going to help smooth everything out really well. So if there's no roughness or any pieces that are jagged. Now, once you get your chipboard piece covered, you are going to go ahead and grab your hole punch and punch your holes before you cover the other side. So you want to make sure that you punch all the holes before you cover the other side, because if you cover the other side, then you won't know where your holes are, okay? And believe me, I know this because I did that. It's on one of the pages. I went ahead and covered both sides and did not punch my holes out, and had to kind of figure out where the holes were. So good thing I had punched my holes in my other pages, so I just butted up the other chipboard piece to the covered one, and just marked my holes and punched them from there. But but just wanted to let you know to go ahead and punch your holes out before you cover the other side, okay? So next, I went ahead and switched my paste to the Mod Podge, and I really liked the Mod Podge better. I just felt like it covered better and my paper stuck down a little bit better than using the paste that I was using before. So for all of your chipboard pieces, you're going to cover one side, make sure you punch your holes, and then you're going to cover the next or the back side or the whatever, the other side of your chipboard, and you're going to punch your holes. Okay, make sure you burnish down really good. Okay, so once again, I'm just cutting around the little chipboard piece here, and I'm just cutting all the way around that. And then you're going to have whatever, if you have like little pieces there like I did, you can just go ahead and cut those off. And then you're going to grab your nail file and you're going to go ahead and go around that piece again, so you can make the paper edges smooth. And you can definitely ink around the edges of your book once you cut everything out. Okay, so the next thing I want to share with you is that I covered all of the chipboard pieces. So all of the pages are covered and I punched all the holes in each of the pages. Okay, for this next part, we're covering the top chipboard that has the frame that attaches to it. And for this one, I went ahead and took the pattern paper that had the curtains on it and I cut the curtains out, and then I laid the midsection that was left over on top of the chipboard piece. So now I'm just taking off the backing of the thin stripped foam tape that I used, and I'm just going to go ahead and lay those down. Now the foam tape is thin enough that it's not going to cover the side of the holes, so I'll be able to use the hole punch to punch my holes through the curtains. Okay, so this is the frame, okay, and I did paint the frame already. I just painted it white, and then we're going to grab our scissors and you're going to go ahead and cut off the tips of those curtains so they do not, so they're, so it's all even. Then you're just going to go ahead and, like I did before, grab your file and you're just going to file down around the top portion of that. So, but you don't really have to because the frame is going to cover that up. So right now we're going to go ahead and grab our glue and we're going to place that down. And then these pieces go on top of the frame, and I have not painted those yet. And I'm going to go over that with you here in a bit and share what I did with that. And then I'm just going to grab my hole punch and punch my holes through with the curtains on it, since I've already got everything stuck down there. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and stick the frame on, and what you're going to do is to stick that frame on, you can either put tape on the back of it if you want, but I'm just using glue. And because with the glue you can go around the holes, and the tape you would have to cover over the holes. I'm not sure how that would work. Might be a little bit sticky, but the glue worked absolutely fine. So you're just going to place your glue all over and place that on top of there of your frame, and you're just going to go ahead and burnish that down really well. Okay, make sure that you got it evened up with your holes really good, and yeah, and then that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and share with you how we're going to make the pockets for the pages. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the scrap pieces from when we cut out our pattern paper from the top of the chipboard pieces. Because it has a nice arch in it, I thought that that would look really pretty. And so basically what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and score a 1/2 inch on each of the scrap pieces of that paper. Okay, so a 1/2 inch on the left hand, 1/2 inch on the right, and a 1/2 inch on the bottom. So here's another example: a 1/2 inch on the right, a 1/2 inch on the bottom and the left hand side. So then you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut where the two score lines meet at an angle, just like I did here, and then you're going to go ahead and fold those in and burnish those down. And this is going to be your little pockets. Now you can go ahead and you can add your tape to the little flaps here, and I'm just going to use my score tape. But you can use glue too. You don't have to use tape if you don't want to. Now on your pockets, some of the images will be upside down, but we have our chipboard pieces that we can use to layer on top of those. And then if you have the little flaps, little angles sticking out, you can definitely just cut those off like I did there. Okay, so we have our chipboard pieces, and we can definitely layer those on top of the piece areas that have upside down images. So, or you can do some fussy cutting and cut out some of the cards, images from the cut apart cards, and stick those down on the upside down areas as well, just to cover that up. And that's what I did on my pockets. And the next thing I wanted to do is share with you what I did to even these out. So I just went ahead and folded the pockets in half like that, and I just went ahead and cut them down so that each side would be even. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make some little pockets, and these pockets are going to be 8.5 by 6, and you're going to score a 1/2 inch on each side, so the left hand side and the right hand side, and then in the middle you're going to score at a 4 1/4 inches. Okay, so one of the 1/2 inch tabs are going to face on the inside, and the other 1/2 inch tab is going to fold behind. So this 1/2 inch one, you're going to go ahead and you're going to place your glue down on the inside there, and then you're going to fold that towards the other side. Okay, so it makes like a little pocket, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to place your tape on that flap that's behind. So the little pocket that's inside here is going to hold a little photo mat that slides in and out for more photos. I also added a waterfall to this cute little mini album that we're doing, and I went ahead and did the waterfall cards at 4 by 6, and you score a 1/2 inch on the left hand side. They do measure about 3.5 by 6. They're not a full 4 by 6. And the reason why is because I had to use up the scraps that we were left behind from the remaining paper that we covered the chipboard pieces with. And those pieces were only 3.5 inch wide. So that's why these are about 3.5 by 6. Okay, for your photos. So on that 1/2 inch, again, you're going to go ahead and place your score tape on that, and then we're going to lay these down, and we're going to put this together here in just a minute. Okay, so first you're going to need your ribbon, okay, whatever ribbon you would like, and your ribbon is going to measure, I'm going to say about 17 inches or so long, okay. Yeah, it's about 17 or 18 inches long, and then you're just going to lay it right across the entire piece of chipboard. Okay, and then you're just going to grab your tape. Okay, and you want it about a finger width away from the holes. Okay, and I just placed it all along there. Then you're going to go ahead, and I got glue just to add some security to that, and then that's how your chipboard's gonna look. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and start laying down our pieces, and you're just gonna lay one piece down, and then you're gonna see where your 1/2 inch is right there. You're gonna butt up that next little waterfall piece right up against that little 1/2 inch tab there. Okay, and you're gonna go ahead and do that all the way across till you are done with laying down your waterfall pieces. Okay, and then you can add your photo mat to the back. So after placing all the waterfall pieces down, I noticed that the photo mat that I had cut out previously was a little too small. It was a little short. So I went ahead and cut out a larger piece and placed a larger one down on the back there. Okay, y'all, so now we're coming to the part where we can go ahead and we can color in all of our wooden pieces. And this is where you can use either your colored pencils, your paints, you can use watercolors, whatever you want to do to color your wooden pieces. I chose to use my colored pencils on some of the wooden pieces because I loved the softness that it gave the wood. It wasn't very bold. It was just perfect for this baby, for the front of the baby album. But you can use whatever you would like. I did use paint for the little baby banner, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. But I did use, as I said, my colored pencils, and I think they turned out pretty good. So I was really happy with everything. Okay, so this part I was using my paints to color in the letters for the baby blocks. And then I used paints for the baby banner. I used a sage color that would match the paper. So I just happened to have that in my stash. So I didn't have to mix any colors or anything. And I painted the banners pink, a light pink first. And then I used the sage paint to color around the border of that banner, and I think it looked pretty good. It matched perfectly. Okay, so for the toy box, I went ahead and grabbed an old Stampin' Up marker that I had in my stash, and it was like a sage kind of green, and I went ahead and just outlined the border of the top piece of the little toy box, and then I colored in the bottom piece there. And then for the other part of the toy box, I went ahead again and used my colored pencils, and I just chose really light browns, like tans and like a tannish color. And then I did go over it with a like a little darker brown, a little bit, just to give it a little bit of like wooden type of look there, and colored in some of the little wooden planks there with that darker brown. So I really, again, I love the softness of this. I like how it turned out. I just colored that top part of that toy box there lightly with my browns. I really like how with this little album, you can decorate this however you want, and you can really get creative and just decorate it with your paints, your chalks. You know, if you don't want to use those, you can use mixed media, whatever you would like, just to make this your own little special album. I really had fun creating this, in putting this together. I really just let my mind kind of wander and go with, whatever I felt like doing. And putting this together was just, I don't know, it just was so fun and different. And I've never done anything like this before. So to do something like this and have a 3D kind of look to this little album was super fun to do. And I especially loved decorating this little frame part. It was really, really fun. So I hope that you guys have fun decorating your little album as well. I think that you will really enjoy this and have a lot of creative juices going flowing through you, and yeah, I think it's really fun. Okay, so now we're adding the little wooden pieces on, and we've got the last one here, the baby word, and I just love how this looks, you guys. I am so happy with this, and I hope you guys like it too. Okay, so now that we have our little pockets done, we scored them and we evened up all the sides and everything, we're going to go ahead and lay these down. And what you're going to do is just place your tape and adhesive on the little tabs there, and you're just going to place that down right in between the right and left hand side of your edge there. And I didn't butt mine up right to the edge. I just kind of left about an eighth inch little space there between the bottom and the edge of the pocket. And since our images are upside down on our pockets, I'm using the chipboard pieces, and I'm also going to fussy cut out some pieces from the cut apart cards, and I'm going to lay those down on top of the little pockets there. So that way it covers up some of the upside down images. Another idea that I'd like to share with you is that I take the chipboard words, and if they're a long sentence like this one is, I go ahead and I cut those apart and I place them on the back of or on top of a sheet of paper, and then I cut them out. And I like to do that because I like to place the words maybe sporadically on top of the page itself or maybe around the pocket area, and I just feel like it gives it a little bit of something extra. So you don't have this big long word stretched out. You can break it up, so to speak. And it just, I think it really adds a little bit to your page. And it also helps take up a little bit more space in your area. So you don't have to worry about having so much extra things that you got to add to it. So anyway, I'm inking up all of my little items for my embellishments. I'm also going to ink up the chipboard pieces as well before I lay everything down. So that is what I'm doing here. And yep. So now we're just going to lay down everything and kind of make sure it's adhered really good in on top of that little pocket there. And so I hope that you guys check it out. Archana did place the kit in her shop, so you do have this paper. There was an old kit that had a different piece of paper with this album, but now she has the Tiny Miracle Mintay paper collection with the album. And so this is a kit, and it is called Baby Kit. So go check it out. I do have the link down below in the description for you, and I also put it in the walkthrough video. I will also add it to the other video where I'm introducing the paper and the album and everything. But yeah, there's my little cat. There's Jack, Jack the cat. He loves to visit every once in a while, you guys. He does a show in the video. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add our little pockets on to this side of our album piece. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to lay down our ribbon first on the whatever side you want to do your little pockets on. So you're going to go ahead and take your score tape and just place that in the back of your ribbon there. And again, you want to cut it about 18 inches long or so, and just get a good piece of long ribbon because I mean, we can always cut it down if we need to. Next, you're going to grab your little pockets and you're going to place those on top. Okay, so before we lay down our flaps, I wanted to go ahead and share with you real quick. You want to lay down whatever piece is going to be closest to your holes. So whether you have a piece, whether your holes are on the left or the right hand side, make sure you lay down that piece that is closest to the holes first, okay? And the reason for this is because if you lay down another piece that is on the opposite side of the holes, okay, and let's say you don't have enough room for the piece that is closest to the holes, then you're going to have a problem because you're going to cover up the holes and you don't want to do that, okay? So that's why I laid down my right hand side piece flap down first, and then I did the left hand piece, okay? And then here we're going to go ahead and cut that, and there is your closure for your little gatefold. So, or your little gate flaps. So then you can enter, or you can go ahead and place in your little photo mats on the inside of the pocket. So here what I'm doing is I'm just sharing with you that we need a piece of mat, so plain paper, right in between our flaps here. And you can either do it you can place that map over both of those little pieces, the flap, the tabbies, or you can butt the piece right up to it. I am actually going to cut a piece that is large enough to be adhered over those little tabs that are laying on top of the chipboard. Okay, so here I think it was about 7.5 by 6 or something like that. So it lays right over there nicely, right over both of those little tabs. Okay, really nice, and I like that. So next I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up the edges of that little mat there, and then I'm going to place that down right in between those little flaps, just like this. And that is how that's going to be done. And so now this piece is done. All you have to do is go ahead and decorate it however you would like to. If you want to place in some chipboard pieces, or if you want to add some little words or anything like that in there, you can definitely do that. So you're just going to go ahead and flip your page over, and you're just going to go ahead and place your pocket on the back of that page. And this is going to be your second pocket that you're adhering down to a page. And then you're going to grab a new chipboard piece, and we're going to lay these little flaps that we created. Remember, we created 4. We already did 2 for the gate opening flaps, okay, that open side by side, and out on the left and right. And now you're going to place these 2 flaps, one on top and one on the bottom. I did create a couple of mats to go underneath them, so that way you have already a photo mat under there. And then just grab some ribbon. Again, I measured my ribbon out at 17 inches, and I just stuck with that measurement because that way you know you have enough ribbon to tie in, for your closure. So I laid my ribbon down, okay, just like I'm doing here, just right in the middle of that chipboard piece, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and lay that down flat right in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and place my pocket down first, the flap that goes upwards. So you're going to go ahead and put glue or your tape on there and just tape, and then just adhere that down. Then you're going to grab some your double back tape, and I'm taping, get just a little piece onto that, so that way my mat can go on top of that ribbon. Okay, and I cut it a little bit too long and I wanted it even, so I just cut it down some to go underneath there, just like that. Okay, so there we go. So that is how you're going to attach your top and bottom flap on that chipboard piece. Okay, and I'm just going to add some glue there, adhere that down, and there you go. So after you attach your photo mat down, you can go ahead and tie that up, and there you go. So next we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the bottom flap. And you're just going to lay your ribbon down in the middle there, and then lay that little tab on the inside of that, on top of that chipboard piece. And then you're going to add your little photo mat underneath. Again, I'm going to go ahead and cut that little photo mat down a little bit, and then attach that on in just a bit. You do want to make sure that you burnish down the little tabs that are adhered down to the chipboard pieces really good, okay? So that way they don't come off or anything. So you just want to make sure everything's burnished down really good. Next, you're going to go ahead and just attach that photo mat down on top of that little tab there, and tie that up. And there is your next closure. And again, you can go ahead and snip away any excess ribbons that you want. Next, you're going to go ahead and just add your photo mats in the inside of those pockets there. And then we're going to grab the chipboard piece that has the frames on top of it. Then you're going to add a pocket to that. And I think on this album, we only have 3 pockets, okay, that you're going to have throughout the chipboard album. And then you can add some photo mats inside of that little pocket, or whatever you would like. Maybe you want to make a little booklet or something if you have extra paper. Okay, y'all, so now we're going to start doing the layouts on our pages. And you're just going to cut whatever photo mats you would like to use. Either it's 4x4, 4x6, 4x5. Maybe you want to do some 3x3s, whatever your photos you want to use on your on your chipboard pieces, on your layouts, that's what you're going to do, okay? And then what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing some chipboard pieces from the collection, and I'm going to put those down. I am going to place some foam tape on the back of these chipboard pieces, okay, because you want to make sure that your photo slides up under your chipboard pieces, so that way you don't have to cut down your photos, right? So if here in a bit I'll share with you how I did that. And I'm just placing some glue on the little words. As you saw in the walkthrough video, I placed words up on top of the little the tops of the pages, and so I did that on each page, the front and back, and I just thought that was a nice little touch. It was so cute. And then here, as you see, I'm placing a foam tape on the back of these chipboard pieces, and that's so your photos will go up underneath these little chipboard pieces so that way you don't have to cut down your photos, okay? And you do want to make sure that you place them on the opposite side of where the photo is going to be, so the photo will slide right up underneath there, okay? Now you can decorate your pages however you would like. I did go back and throughout decorating the video for each page because I used up the chipboard pieces sparingly on, I just added like maybe a few here and there on each page. And then as I got dwindled down to like scraps, I went ahead and added more here or placed more on certain pages and just filled in like gaps in here and there. And I wanted to use the whole collection. I didn't really want to have like any leftovers. So that's why I did a lot of layering and stuff like that on all of the pages, and did some fussy cutting of the cut apart cards and things like that. And I really liked the images on this paper. They were so super cute. So I didn't want to cover those up. So that's why I did photo mats that were going to only be placed up on top of each of the chipboard pages. Okay, so for this part, we're going to go ahead and make some frames out of the frames that are in the collection. And you're going to pick whatever frames you want to do. And first what you're going to do is you're going to grab your X-Acto knife, and I just cut an X in the middle part of the frame. And then I go around the inside there and connect kind of like connecting the dots, connecting the cuts. And then it just usually just all punches out a little bit, just like it's super easy, you guys. I love doing this. I do this a lot on a few of my other albums, and I do have some other albums. I have a walkthrough playlist of all the mini albums that I've made. So if you ever want to look at those, you're more than welcome to take a look at the walkthrough playlist. Next, we're going to add some acetate on the back of that frame, and I'm just using my glue to attach that down. Okay, and you can use tape if you want. I just used the glue because it just was faster, it was in reach. And then I went ahead and cut this down a little bit, the frame, because there was some uneven spots in the frame. And so I went ahead and just kind of cut that down a little bit. And I'm using white cardstock for the backing instead of the paper collection, but you can use whatever you want to use. You can use the paper collection if you would like. And so I'm just cutting this down to square everything off. And then I'm going to ink up the edges. Once you're done inking the edges, then you can go ahead and lay down your frame on top of your plain cardstock. But before you do that, you want to go ahead and grab your foam tape. Now I'm using the thin stripped foam tape from scrapbook.com, and I'll have the link down below for you, okay? And then you just want to place that on all three edges of this frame, okay? And I say three edges because you're going to leave one edge opened so you can stick your photo through it. So, okay. And then once you lay that down, you take off the backing and you can lay that on top of whatever cardstock you're using, whether it's pattern or just a plain white cardstock. And then you're going to go ahead and grab your scissors, and you're going to go ahead and cut that to the length that you need that. So I brought over the chipboard piece that we're going to add our frames to, and now I'm just going to go ahead and glue down the one frame that we just finished, okay? And then I have an extra frame that I want to do, so I'm going to grab my X-Acto knife and just put some cuts in the middle of that frame, and just again cut that mid portion out, okay? And then just clean up any extra pieces that are in there. Usually for a round frame, it takes a little bit because you want to make sure that everything's, cut out in the middle part. Once you have your middle cut out, you want to just go ahead and follow the same steps that we did with the other frame. So you're going to grab your piece of acetate, and I cut mine to the same, just about the same length of the frame, okay, the entire square. So again, I'm just trimming it down just to make sure that everything's squared off right. And then I'm just going to lay that piece of acetate down. And then I'm going to ink that up, and then place my foam tape on the back of that, and then lay that down on my white cardstock, just like we did with the first frame. Once you're finished, you're going to go ahead and attach that or adhere that down to the inside of the book right next to the other frame. Okay, so once you get done with your frames, now you can go ahead and decorate this page however you would like. And I think on this one, I did a little banner. It's a bundle of joy banner, and I just inked up that little chipboard there, and I just put some glue on the back of the banner and stuck that down. Now this is where we're going to combine all of our pages together, and we're just going to flip through the book, and we're going to start decorating and adding the little words, the sentiments and everything that are in the collection. And this is where I just kind of just added some little things here and there to each of the pages, and did some fussy cutting of the cut apart cards and things like that. So that page was done because we did the back with the waterfall. Okay, so the next page we're going to do is the back of the front cover of the album. And I did cut out some 4x6 photo mats, okay, and we are going to overlap them. Okay, so I laid down the first one about an eighth of an inch away from the edge there. And then the next one we're going to do, we're going to overlap that on top of that one. We're not going to glue it down to that other one, okay? We're just going to overlap it, and you don't want to place glue on top of that left side of that 4x6 mat. And the reason being is so that way your photo can slide up underneath that portion of that mat, okay? Because if you glue it down, then you're going to have to cut down your photo, and it's, you know, and so this just alleviates you not having to cut down your photo. So again, now I stuck some little foam tabs on the back of each of the chipboard. I did go ahead and ink the chipboards to, you know, match, you know, the inked photo mats and everything. So everything's kind of uniform within the album. And I did add, like I said, some foam tapes up underneath that little flag there, and that way it would stick down, and you can slide your photo up underneath that little flag. Okay, so then you're just going to go ahead and, like I said, you're going to decorate this however you would like. If you want to do this like I did, you can follow this tutorial to the letter. Okay, I don't mind. Okay, so this is where I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and I'm going to go ahead and prepare tutorial number 2 for you. And then we will continue on decorating our little chipboard wooden mini album. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and hit that bell for future notifications on all upcoming videos. And I have a couple of videos down here for you to view. Thanks. Bye.